are here in Liwa, about to start the Liwa Crossing 2.0. Cars are all packed, got lots of spares, lots of water. Yeah, and we are headed off to the dunes that way.
I think it's all about, the height of the tire, and it can deflate it. But I know when I changed the tires, the guy and I bought the others one of him. We call that sand tires, and he said this is the top of the range tires that you can buy. So I think in quality this is better. It's a bit softer, and I think it will last a bit longer.
The driving was phenomenal. The views and really out of this world. Very, very impressive. I think it's just a combination of everything. I wouldn't be able to say one item. It's just a combination of the whole thing which makes it magical.
Mother Nature people use in the cars.
I have absolutely loved it. It's been an incredible experience, privilege to drive an old car like this through here.
Just being able to take in the epic views that we had, the landscape was an amazing thing to see, and the height of some of the dunes that we came down were quite an impressive couple of days.
This vehicle behind me is a Land Rover Series 2A 109, which dates from 1970.
It's a 1966 Series 2A, complete knockdown version. It came in from sent from the UK, obviously, to Rhodesia, and then from Zimbabwe back up here in November this year.
It's a 1-ton Land Rover border control. It actually originally was shipped out to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
It was part of the Defence Forces here, and it served, I think, for about 10 years before it returned back to the UK for some unknown reason, and entered MOD service before it was released to the public. So I'm dropping down to 15 psi. For me, if I need to drop down to 10, I can, no problem, but 15 psi works quite well. I think if the sand had been a bit softer, you drop the tyre pressure. But yeah, the rain has obviously firmed up the dunes a fair amount. But yeah, control that with the tire pressure.
Generally, the tyres, the driving's been very comfortable. Been quite a lot of grip. I've been quite surprised with some of the dunes we've gone up. obviously gearing ratios, etc. But the tyres have been really quite strong. They've been as comfortable, and we've been up things which I didn't think we would have done. So the tyres play a lot of part in that, not only the ability of the driver, of course, but the tyres.
In the morning, the target was 15 psi for the day, but a little bit low to start off with. And then as the tyres warm up, ambient air temperature goes up, then the pressure rises. So during the day, check it again in the middle of the day. We've been on somewhere, but all the time around 13 to 15 psi.
We were using about 1 bar of 15 psi, between 10 to 15, but generally around 15.
I think we took a bit of a risk this late because I thought we were going to suffer nighttime. Especially daytime anyway suffered. It was, I think, average 39 degrees. So it's tough on the body. We had a lot of water. You have to carry a lot of you with you. So it's interesting to see how the cars are, handling the heat. So you have to stop sometimes just to cool down a bit. But I think we were lucky that it rained a lot because the dunes were actually hard.
It's a challenge, and it's a very, very important thing because you need to hydrate early on. Bear in mind, we've been in temperatures during this adventure, this expedition of during the day, somewhere peak was, I think, nearly 42 degrees and probably an average during the day of around 39, 40 degrees centigrade with a strong wind a lot of the time, which adds to, the moisture loss. You don't realize you're losing all that moisture. I think the whole team has managed to drink perhaps 2-3 times more water than they would back in the city. So you have to be ahead of the game. You can't wait till it gets too late. You start getting headaches, you start not concentrating, not feeling so great. You're probably suffering from, some level of dehydration.
Waking up and seeing the fog, where we literally had visibility of about 10, 15 meters was a little interesting. Slightly damp sleeping bag as I chose to sleep under the stars. So hydration at night isn't too bad, but during the day we've been drinking the water through with the electrolytes as well, alternating between plain water and electrolyte water. And I've gone through around about 6 or 7 liters every day. Carrying the water is not an issue. Keeping it cool has been the issue.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a box of spares. I basically went back and looked at the Joint Services Expedition and looked at the report and the spares that they took, and cherry picked a little bit, but I followed their wisdom, and I've got in their alternator, starter motors, full set of hoses, all those kind of things, just in case. We've got a fuel tank was enough for the trip, plus a little bit extra, but I've got 3 jerry cans, 60 litres of fuel, took 100 litres of water. We actually have on board a battery, 200 amp hour lithium battery with a 300 watt solar blanket, which we strapped to the roof, and that's kept it topped up throughout the entire trip. So we've been running a shower.
Oh, wow.
Powering up electronics and iPad, Gaia navigation up at the front. What other kit we got? We also had a fridge freezer.
So I had all the essentials in there, the creature comforts of the toilet paper and other items that we have, cooking stoves and other items. Then the chairs and stuff on the top. At the very back, we had all the fuel as well. So we carried 6 litres of fuel at the beginning, and also had 30 litres of hand wash water. So the back of the vehicle was weighed quite nicely, balancing out for me, who's rather a larger gentleman. And the drive was smooth. Lighter items across the top, so with the cot and the chairs strapped down with a couple of ratchet straps, and away we went.
Big adventure and very much of a novelty for us all. So Stephen was mostly in charge of the packing you were, and then it was a bit of a group decision, was trying to work out what to take, and the organization was left to you in the car.
Through this safari, we've understood what we need to get moving forward, so things that make our life easier, and the way we pack make our life easier. So we've learnt a lot about just the general upkeep of her personal upkeep over the last 3 days?
I brought the usual tent and other items with me, but due to the warm days and the relatively cool nights, actually I slept under the stars each time. The cot bed that I had was superb. That was a nice addition to sleeping on the floor or an airbed that would probably go down. Obviously, the airbed, you need power as well to pump it up, either manual or battery. The cot was a superb addition. Literally, a thin sleeping bag was enough for most nights. Last night, let's just say, it was a cooler evening last night, which was a nice rebate after the heat. Yesterday, the temperature really did come up, and when this fog clears, I think we're going to be in for a scorcher today.
I've gone with electric things, and then I will buy 2 pumps when I import it. One that you put inside the tank and one outside for the sand. And then you stand naked there in the evening, looking forward for the shower, and then nothing is working. And then you have to put all the water on yourself. So we went for this one also that you pump up. So the less mechanical things you have in the desert, the better.
You mean that?
And electricity with that also. But hand things that you can work like that. It's I think it also, the nozzle is again a problem. So the sand is everywhere. So you have to fight that. But I think some of the guys had electrical pumps, but it didn't work for me. So this is much better.
And actually, she rode better having more weight in. She has the original springs on, and she felt like, to me, I hate to say easy, but the vehicle handles the dunes, thrives in the desert so well. So there's a couple of factors, I think. Having a great guide leading the way through the dunes is just immense. Obviously, normally I'm a few vehicles behind, but that having a great guide and great route and picking your course through is so helpful and makes things so much easier. But the Land Rover itself just works so well. Inside her is the original Land Rover V8 engine and the LT95 gearbox. She just drives so well. The weight balance on the axles, the power of the engine, the torque she has, just makes things so much easier and makes up for where I lack in my desert driving skills. It's great fun.
I have a very limited experience with these tires in different terrain, and I have been absolutely astonished with the performance on the car on this trip. The vehicle is reasonably heavy. We've been carrying quite a considerable weight in the back, fuel, water, notably, camp equipment, spares, and so on. And the vehicle has managed in every sense. Perhaps the testimony is the fact that at no point did this car get stuck in the sand. So the tires performed remarkably well, even climbing up dunes.
We have quite a few times with this particular vehicle was overheating, and we had to stop it occasionally to let it cool down. Seemed to cool down quite quickly. Sometimes we had to re-top up the radiator and that sort of thing. So I would say the major issues we've had was a part which has just come off through the terrain we've been driving through. Overheating issues, which one had a gear? And we had sometimes it's a little bit difficult getting into second gear. So I think the synchro mechanism have gone for the second gear. It's a bit tough. So I've been crunching the gearbox quite merrily over the last day or two. So hopefully we won't need a new gearbox.
Well, I mean, you don't want to abandon a vehicle, right? A nut, a bolt, a Jubilee clip, a rubber hose could render your entire vehicle completely unserviceable. So you don't want to do that if you can avoid it. Obviously, having multiple vehicles is key. You can get out. It's nice and safe. We had a sat phone with us and, battery packs to charge navigation devices, that kind of stuff. But if you don't have the nuts and bolts and washers and things that make your machine work, then you can't go anywhere. That's key. So we made a point of making sure we have
The standard items we've used, from pliers, multi-tools to socket sets to the old cable ties to items that are a consumable item were important to keep hold of. Some of the modifications we've had to make or running repairs, as we've gone along have been very simple. And I think just having the ideas and ingenuity to come up with stuff The vehicles are very adaptable and have been actually very robust. Nothing really major has actually gone wrong on this trip, but having the parts covered for most eventualities is quick.
I think we need to come better equipped from a personal point of view. For example, as Matthew's mentioned, a shower. Now, those sort of different personal touches will make our life a little bit easier.
They love the story of Land Rover and being involved in Land Rover. So every kilometer we did was fun. I asked Steven, how are you today? So I'm living the dream type of thing. He's the MS pilot. So no, it was amazing. It's tough times with old Land Rovers. Things will happen and you have to stop and wait. And that patience, I think that's and patience part of love. To experience that was absolutely, and you knew all the people, but we did not. So Malcolm, all of them are absolute brilliant people. So it was very nice.
You taming each other, and then little by little, everybody is joining in, and you've got to, because if you're part of an adventure and you're in a tight group, you can't just be not taking part of the group life, and it's a natural process. I think as the hours go, yes, you join in and you start talking, and the evenings are really nice for that as well. Mainly, when there is food or drinks, people start, you gather and around the fire or around the table, and then the boss relaxing.
The height of the dunes here is intimidating. I think it could go up to 300 meters, average 150, 200 meters. So what I wanted to do is to come down one of those slip faces, and we managed to do that. So it was, because the technique is the same. I mean, if you go 100 meters or 2 meters, it's the same. You put low range first gear, don't touch the brakes if you don't need to do that, and let the four wheels guide you down and keep the nose straight and the wheels straight, and there you go. But I think that one was about 150 that we did.
Yeah.
And it was crazy nice. It was, I was a bit afraid in the beginning because if it overturns there, I think, but that is the doubtless mind coming into play. But as soon as you hit the slip face and it goes down, because the slip face always was 30 degrees, because it can't be more steep than that. And with this approach angle, it's easy to go down and nothing can stop you. So it was a thrill.
I think that a couple of highlights, bringing along my 7-year-old son, Nico, on his first proper expedition. I think that's going to be lovely. The scenery is just to die for. The dunes and the clear blue backdrop, the scenery is just amazing. And you go through these snowy Sapka flats and have these beautiful dunes, and then the clear blue sky. That is just amazing. Obviously, having the company, the new friends, the food has been fantastic. Everyone's come catered with everything you need. That's been my highlight. What about you?
Has been really collaborative, all the people contributing to all the things to the trip to make the most of it. So yes, that's the best bit, the willingness of the people.
We would do it again, same route. Obviously, going in different parts of the desert and stuff, it changes all the time. There's the tunes move and things. Yeah, absolutely, without question. Looking forward to the next one.
The food's been great. Company's been great.
And the camaraderie, that's one thing, I was amazed when mechanical problem occur, just like yesterday, and the piece that was broken on our car there was no supply for it. To see how everybody, it's like cooking, I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and everybody gathered all together and find a solution that's unbelievable.
It was a very nice experience. The route was absolutely magnificent. We had a good tour guide or navigator, and Malcolm knows the desert very well. So I think we missed a few tricky parts that we had to hit last time and kept us busy for hours. We had a winch this time with us, but we didn't use. But it was a serene experience. every time you come to the desert, it's like, like this thing I said, this is your friend.
The backdrop of the common ancestry of the vehicles and stuff is quite nice. There's a lot of similarities between the 101 and the other vehicles. It's a lot of common parts and elements, but having the mixed backgrounds and nationalities just makes things more interesting. You learn a lot more, I guess.
Yeah, just this amazing.
A wonderful experience. I mean, it's unique.
So there's a rumor has it you might have a few more of these.
I do. Jenny and I are currently refurbishing a couple of barn finds, if we can call it that. We picked them up last year at a very knockdown price, considering the state of them. And we basically got to the stage of stripping them down to the chassis, all parts off. One's in the blasters at the moment. The other one's parked outside my office.